Welcome to another shot of ecstasy with me. Today on pornography is just boring art and why it is like fast food for your sexuality. So pornography is not such a topic that we talk about so openly. Yet, if you look and research, and I just did a little bit of research on it, and I found out that 12% of all web pages on the internet, 12%, that's a real lot, are pornographic. And 25% of all downloads that we do are also of pornographic nature. And 25% are search engine requests. So anytime you type in something like, whatever, you're wanting to know something, 25% of these searches are pornographic or related to sex in some way, and 35% are downloads. So we're actually downloading from the internet pornographic content in 35% from all the things that happen on the internet. I find that quite a lot. And if you think now that these are all just these seedy old men, it's not true. 1/3 of the population, or 1/3 of all porn users, are actually women. And the main average of porn users online are between 35 and 49. So it's kind of, it's not what you might think it is. So porn is a very deep, big, massive topic, and it is influencing our sexual culture really radically and really unhealthily in some way. So I want to speak to this today. So why do I see pornography as just boring art? I see any kind of expression, so whatever is created in this life, as a form of art. Everything that wants to come through you, every word that you speak in some way is art. But the issue is that most people just create really boring art. Something that's been there, something that's just repeated, that they just like keep speaking again. It's like, okay. We've heard it before, we've seen it before. It's not really inspiring, it doesn't really move anything. While art, the beautiful, deep art, moves something for us, right? The difference between creations that is made in China or anything that's just cheap and where you can see that it just doesn't move, it breaks quickly, it goes to the garbage. So it doesn't really inspire any kind of action of care for that product or for that type of creation. While an artful project or an artful product inspires us in some way to go deeper with it, to care for it, to keep it on the shelf, to let it create more beauty in our lives. So for me, although I'm talking about pornography today, I'm also talking about it as an analogy for your life and how you are treating your life and what food you're taking in and so on. So pornography, in some way, because of the bad acting and the quick production modes and the one kind of style of sexuality that's offered there, feels to me like it is fast food. And maybe once in a while you can devour a burger if then really you need to, but if you continuously feed yourself and your sexuality just with the input of pornography and the narration and the narrative that it offers and the pictures that it offers, a lot of really shitty things happen in your brain. And I've spoken to men who have really difficulty even being aroused by a natural, normal woman because their brain is so overloaded with the images of these pornographic women and the pleasure that is displayed, which is mostly not real pleasure, so that there's this real difficulty to actually come into contact and feel the sensitivity of the moment and feel the woman and give yourself to her. I recently watched on Netflix a documentary series called Sex and Love Around the World, really good, and in one of the episodes they go into Japan and they interview this, in one of the moments, a really stunning, beautiful Japanese woman, and she talks about the fact that her marriage is sexless, which is a thing there, so they just don't have sex in the marriage anymore. And she said that in the beginning of their marriage, when they still were a little bit engaging, her husband would kind of just in bed roll over on top of her, enter her without any kind of foreplay, and now it comes, take his phone, make love to her and watch a porno while he's inside of her, and she's just there looking up and being used as a masturbation device. When I saw that story, when I saw that woman that was so drop dead gorgeous, literally, like absolutely phenomenal, beautiful woman, and I heard that story, I was like, what is going on this planet? What are we feeding ourselves? What are we feeding our sexuality? And how far have we come to remove ourselves from the sacredness, the sanctuarity that our sexuality is? We suppressed it so much that now it's all in the shadows. It's all played out in this bad or just really boring art of pornography, where our desires get a little quick fix, right? So the difference between boring art or plagiarism or something that's just repeated is that it, especially in pornography, yeah? So if we look at porn, what does it? It kind of satisfies an unconscious need, and it just kind of leaves a fix for something, for a physical yearning of release, and it releases that. While, for example, if you see a nude piece or an art piece that is made where somebody uses sexuality even, or sensuality and the body and the beauty of it, what happens is that if the art is made well, it invokes a waking up of consciousness. It invokes me to question, what is this moving inside of me? What desires are awakening for me? Or what am I feeling while I'm watching this? So it is a movement from unconscious to conscious. So that's where where I draw the line between boring art, pornography, and art that uses the feminine or the masculine or the bodies, the beautiful bodies that we carry, to create, to transport consciousness a little higher. Just even maybe through the invocation of beauty, through the invocation of desire, through the invocation of whatever comes through that piece of art. And then the more versatile, the more contrasting that piece of art is, the more it will speak to the inner, it will speak to our hearts, will speak to the space that has no words, has no language. And when you take this analogy into your life, then I want you to also look at, what are you feeding yourself daily? How are you taking in life? Because to the extent of your life being a piece of art is the extent that you are willing to be taking life in, that you are willing to absorb from all sorts of sources, like, ooh, this is beautiful, and ooh, this is... Artists collect, but they're not hoarders. They collect beautiful things that they know can inspire them to create something beautiful. If you want a beautiful life, if you want a luscious, delicious, pleasurable, full life, you need to be able to receive from life, to take life in. And tell me in the comments if this makes sense for you. But for me, it's so clear. If we take responsibility for what food we are eating, and when you love yourself, there's a natural pull to feed yourself better, right? So you will not take in boring art all the time, because it will affect the way your body is structured in this reality. It will affect the way your mind is taking in life, because as we know, pornography specifically does something to the chemistry of your brain, where it rewires your pleasure pathways. And once your pleasure pathways are wired that way, you're gonna go and want that all the time, and then it needs a little bit of cold turkey to come back down and to rewire your sexuality and come to like, ooh, now I need to do everything different. Now I need to wipe the slate clean in order to come back to a more natural sexuality again. So be very careful with how many taste enhancers you put inside of yourself, because that's what pornography is. It's the that stuff, I don't remember what the name is, the stuff that really enhances the taste of anything. That's kind of banned now, but when you put that into your system gets very addicted to it, and you want more and more and more of it. The same is true with pornography and the way you will then do your sexuality. So it's kind of really easy. What are you taking in, and how much are you opening yourself to receive life? Because the more subtle you become, the more subtle you become in your awareness of the beautiful things around you, and the contrasting things, and the things that all even make you maybe inspire some kind of pain inside of you. The more you are able to feel other people, feel the pain of the world, the more your life becomes art, because now you move that emotion through you and you offer it to others, or to the world, or to yourself as a gift of like, whoa, I can feel this. I am sensitive enough to feel this. I don't no longer need to just quick fix release my tension that I'm so unconscious about. I have all this tension in my body. I don't know what to do with it. So I just and off it goes. No, that is a way. And if it so happens for you, then of course enjoy it. But I am a beautiful advocate of finding your home inside your heart, and finding your home inside your ability to feel life. And then that will spread out all over your life, really. It's the way you treat your sexuality is the way you treat your life. Just let that sink, breathe that in. The way you treat your sexuality is the way you are treating your life, and the way that life nurtures you. And most of us have quick fix release, watch pornography, so we eat fast food. What are you expecting from your sexuality to happen? If you just, what are you expecting of your body if you just eat fast food every single day? You won't become an athlete, and you won't become an amazing sportsman or anything. That your body will go out of shape. So is your sexuality. Your sexuality is out of shape. It's completely melted if you consume a lot of pornography. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So let art become your food. Meaning that life become your food, and you become the art piece. You become that piece of beauty and depth and feeling that walks around this earth, offering its consciousness to others so they can be inspired and lit up by you, because they see that you have moved, that you have fed yourself with different sources of beauty and depth and nurturing from life. And let that sink into all areas of your life, not just pornography, not just the way you deal with your sexuality, not just your food, not just your education. Become deep. Go deep. Don't just skim the surface. Because all tension release is for you a way to avoid what is actually underneath. So all the habitual things that we do, smoking, drinking alcohol, partying, all of that, if we do it from an unconscious drive to release tension, you're just gonna keep going. Keep producing boring art, keep producing a boring life, because you keep doing what you've always done. The invitation with all of these addictive behaviors is to look a little deeper, is to look at which feeling you are avoiding when you're smoking. Look at which feeling you are avoiding when you need that quick orgasm right now because you're feeling so much tension in your body. And you need to see that specific pornographic image or this video of this man and this woman doing this thing together. What are you avoiding to feel? And if you find yourself, because I know a lot of people find themselves in pornographic addictions because of the chemistry that it stimulates inside of our brains, then I really want to offer you that there are ways to get out of pornographic addictions. It requires a little shift, and it requires you to really look deep inside, but there are ways. And then on the other side of being addicted to pornography is a beautiful space that opens for you in your sexuality, which you might have never even touched upon or only had glimpses of. And all I can ever do here is invite that there is a reality of sexuality that is so beautiful, where we can surrender and let go, where we are made love to by God. And I keep saying this, but because it is like that and it feels like that. And then it spills out everywhere because it comes from the root up. When you change your sexuality, when you integrate your sexuality more than change it, when you literally don't stop cutting it out of your body and you acknowledge that it's there, that you have an animal inside of you that wants to devour and be passionate, and also it wants to be slow and gentle and sweet. When you move and lift your spirit through your soul upwards, through your sexuality, when you integrate that this is part of your being, there's no escape from this gateway that is installed in your body that you came through. There is no way that you can ignore sexuality fully. It can be a choice, but it will be a conscious choice of avoiding that area. But if you want to become fully whole and you want to make your life a piece of art, which is so bursting with inspiration and bursting with pleasure and joy and bliss and peace, then go look at your habits around sexuality. Go look at how you feed yourself sexually. And if you need help with that, then come join Go Touch Yourself, our online training, mine and Simon's online training. It's amazing, so beautiful. I always talk about it a little bit, so I'm just going to say this here as well, because we have specific ways of how to deal with pornographic addictions as well, and how you can wean yourself off, and how you can learn to kind of detach from the visual stimulation and coming back to a more of a physical embodiment, where you start to feel pleasure in your body rather than just from the mental stimulation, because that in nature is a dissociative process. When your pleasure just happens in your mental capacity, your body isn't feeling much. And I am, I'm the expert at that. I had sexual fantasies all my life, and I started very early. As many of you know, I've said this many times, I started masturbating before the age of 1, and I had very dark fantasies for pretty much all my life. Rape fantasies. I was my mental capacity was addicted to the idea of submission, even though that wasn't something that I was necessarily doing in my real life sexuality. I'm actually quite a very sensitive. I don't like a lot of hardcore fucking. Excuse my French, but I do like it sometimes, but most of the time I'm very gentle, and I like the softness of soft touch. So these fantasies were very strongly in my body, and I could literally almost orgasm just from having a fantasy without much touch. And it was a big process for me to rewire the pathways in my body. I didn't use so much pornography, but it was the pornography in my brain that I was addicted to. So, whatever scenarios we're creating inside of our mental space will wire our pathways. And it was a big journey for me to get out of that, or to integrate it and to come to wholeness with it. And now it's beautiful. I literally, these fantasies are no longer inspiring me, are no longer taking me on a pleasure journey. There's sometimes like this memory pops up, and then it just floats because I can't really use it anymore for the stimulation that my body really wants now, because I've rewired it, and my body is now responding to internal stimulation, to the energy stimulation of myself or another being. So yeah, there's so much there for us, and often we haven't looked enough. That's why there's a massive porn industry that simply devours your need for quick fix. It uses our unconsciousness. It uses our inability to look deeper, to just give us that quick fix, to give us a little bit of fast food. But fast food, as you know, in the long run, isn't the way. And so many of our young kids and youngsters, now the average age of being exposed to pornography is the age of 11. That's really early. because there's so many internet sites that are 25% of the internet sites are pornographic nature. So that's, or no, 12%, sorry, it was 12% are of pornographic nature. That's a massive amount of sites. So it shows how deep the interest is, how deep the yearning for it is. I like to look at it like that. I don't like to, you know, for me it's important not to condemn it. It's there because there's a big need. There's a huge need in our bodies to integrate our sexuality. It's just that we don't know how. So pornography offers that quick fix, but it is not going to the depth. It doesn't go to the real root of the issue. Yeah, there's a lot of sexual needs. I'm just seeing that in the comments that we are not meeting, because ultimately we've cut ourselves off of our connection to God, of our connection to nature, of our connection to the animal inside of ourselves. Yesterday I had a little conversation with somebody, and he said, yeah, we're so stupid, we're ruining our earth. And I said, yes, we are stupid, but we're stupid because we've disconnected from the animal that's inside of ourselves. So now we're slaughtering all these animals outside of ourselves. We're devouring them, we're eating flesh. And this is not a vegan rant right now, but somebody once, I read in a book once, that the amount of flesh that we consume, animal flesh that we consume on this planet, is also a byproduct of our sexuality being so disjointed and contracted. Because it is, in reality, we want to devour the flesh of a woman or a man. We want to be devoured in the act of sensual, sexual pleasure, and we want to really feel the animal that's living inside of ourselves. But because we've cut it out, we're killing 60 billion animals every single year. 60 billion animals. It's hard to conceive for me, but it is a side product. It's a side, not product, a side effect of our suppressed sexuality. And it goes distorted. Everything that distorts itself goes more and more dark, goes into the shadows, and creates a lot of suffering and pain. So my invitation is, watch closely how you feed yourself. Look at the feelings that you're avoiding with any kind of addictive behaviors, whether it's in pornography or other areas of your life. And then look at your life as a piece of art. Look at yourself as a piece of art. How boring do you want to make that life or that your body? How habitually do you want to feed it? Maybe there's a way to make it more interesting by feeding yourself beautiful things, by feeding yourself contradictory things, by feeding yourself life in its purest form. By going out there and being receptive and being able, I talked about this before, but receiving life will make your life a piece of art. This is what artists do. This is what I do when I go to my guitar and go to my microphone and play music. And I am taking what I have collected because I'm open to receive from life. I take these impressions and I mold them and mix them together and make something new. And I steal from others. One of the big secrets of all artists, steal from others, but don't only steal from one person, steal from lots of people. Let yourself absorb life from as many sources as possible that inspire you, that are your heroes, that are good for you. So in sexuality as well, who's inspiring you? Who's bringing out that, like, ooh, they have something that is new for me? And go take from them. Go take in. Go imitate their body posture. Go feel how they must feel in their bodies. This is the kind of nurture that an artist, not a boring one, but somebody who's looking for innovation, somebody who's looking to create something new, somebody who's wanting to have a beautiful life that is full of adventure and bliss and joy and all the good things. and is ready to welcome pain. When you're ready to welcome it, you can move it through you and make art with it. Make your life a piece of art. You deserve it. You do. Every single one does. We all deserve to treat ourselves as sacredly as we can and as we want to be treated by others. So, which kind of artist do you want to become? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if this resonates. Let me know if this brings a little clarity or a little inspiration for you to move into your life. Less from a place of, oh, I have to improve, oh, I have to get better, oh, I have to do things differently. More to a place of, my life is a piece of art. And I am the painter, I am the musician, I am the artist. What am I gonna do with it? And how am I gonna feed myself in order to be able to paint onto that beautiful canvas? Become a piece of art. I love you. Have a beautiful day and enjoy whatever is flowing through you.